Hi, my name is Brescia.
And my name is Shaquita,
And welcome to Searching for Freedom.
We're just gonna get right into it. Have you ever felt like so much is on you? You know, you're weighed down, you feel all this heaviness, you feel as though you're alone, or you feel as though you have no one, or maybe you feel like you have to keep things to yourself. And so we want to just kind of dive into, what do you do with those broken pieces? You know, maybe it's something from your past, maybe something that someone has done to you. And we just wanted to take this time and just explore.
Right.
What
Like
do you
there's
do?
so many situations where we have felt like, one, we just don't know what the next day is going to look like because it feels like it's too much on us in that moment. Or we just feel overwhelmed with pressure, with whether it's bad things or just hard situations. And it's like, we just want to talk about, what do you do with those broken pieces when you feel like everything is on the floor and you have nowhere else to go but up.
Mm-hmm. And that's definitely good. I know for me, I internalize a lot. Well, I used to. I do my best to now go to the throne room. But prior to me knowing that I can give these broken pieces to God, I used to try to put things back together myself. I used to strive to make things work, strive to have it all together. You know, sometimes you may not even know you have these broken pieces. You may think that, you know, your potter is just good.
Mm-hmm.
You may not even
I
know.
feel like those are the worst times.
Those are the worst times where you think everything is all good, but the whole time God is like, you know, just come to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give it all to me. Let me be the one to put those pieces back together. Let me show you what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, we've been bearing our soul up here. Jeez. I know with me, like in the past, there's been times where I truly felt like everything had fallen apart. Where I was going through, this is when I was going through custody after I was dealing with domestic violence in my past relationship. And I literally felt like, how could this be happening to me? Like, what in the world is going on? Like, I just got baptized a few months ago, and it's like, afterwards, it's like, yes, I literally did go. I'm realizing I went straight into the wilderness, but at that time, I was just like, God, I just gave my life to you. Like, why is all of this happening right now? And it did not feel good at all. But I remember after going through, I was in therapy, and then also just with my small group, like I don't remember how I came across it, but I was looking into something and I saw some artwork. Basically, it was kintsugi. It's Japanese. They take broken pieces, broken bowls and broken things, and they mend it back together with gold. And it was so beautiful to see because I felt like that was me. I felt like I was looking at myself in the mirror, looking at this bowl, this pottery. And it was just like, I started talking to God about it, and it just made me realize just how God is. Like those broken pieces, how I didn't want to be ashamed of those things that I had been through, or things that I thought that I had failed in, but God highlighted it with those gold pieces and allowed it to be something so much more beautiful because I allowed him to come into that space. But if it was just me trying to put myself together, I would have been on the floor with cuts on my hands and blood running everywhere trying to put it back together. A broken person trying to put herself back together. Isn't that something that
we tried.
But that literally is what it looks like. It's like a little kid having baby powder and playing baby powder, and they're trying to pick it up. Like, you're making more of a mess of yourself, but allowing God to come in and saying, God, I don't feel good. This isn't what I expected. Being honest. Like in that season, I learned to be honest with God. Like, this is how I'm feeling. I'm hurting. I feel forgotten. I feel left out in the dark. Like, I thought that you were going to be here. And God showed me, like, he has been there, but because of my emotions, because I was going through, it was a process to be able to see him the way that he was helping me through all of the situations that I've been through. But it definitely, that piece is something that I truly love, because it's like that really is our Potter. That is our God, who will highlight those things where we are talking about our testimonies to other people, and it brings other people out of darkness. Mm-hmm. It helps other people heal and shows other people that they can do it too, because listen, I'm not the only one out here that's hurting, the only one that's trying to figure this life out. I'm not the only one that's not perfect. And by God highlighting those areas in our life with that gold, which is truly what he's doing, he's allowing us to become something so much more beautiful.
I remember when you told me about that pottery, and I went and looked it up, and I saw how they had made beautiful pottery out of these things that were broken, and you could see the gold outline in between those cracks. It was beautiful. So yeah, I do remember that. I know for me, I remember the first time I realized that I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I could no longer mend my own mess. Like, I could no longer clean it up. I could no longer give my heart, and then once it's shattered, try to put it back together, or try to hide behind the brokenness or things like that, or just, putting it to the side. No, I'm not, if I don't see it, if I don't have to deal with it, I don't have to worry about it. I could just, as long as I'm looking good, I got the smile on my face.
The world sees that I'm all right.
The world sees the mask, even I'm believing it now. But I remember not allowing myself to heal after relationships, and being hurt, and not getting closure and things like that. And so I'm thinking about a song where they say, you love another one to get over the other one. And so instead of healing from this relationship, you jump into another relationship. And I remember the last relationship, this is me, finally walking in my walk with God, and he's let me know about self-worth and things like that, and you deserve so much more. And I remember that last breakup, I remember asking God, if you get me out of this, I ain't going back. Girl, it's gonna be me and you, God.
Why we all had those prayers?
He showed me though. He got me out of the situation, and I remember going in my closet, because I remember going in my closet, and I laid down, and I just cried my heart out. Oh, I just cried. I cried. I was like, oh, why? Why do I keep repeating the same cycle? What is happening right now? And then even so, the relationship only lasted like 3 weeks, because at first, relationships you in them from 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. But when you start working with God, you start seeing those red flags.
He will show you real quick.
And you like, oh no, get thee behind me. Say, God, help me get out of the situation. Again, I'm in my closet. I'm crying. I'm pouring out my heart to him. And I'm asking him, God, why? Why does it feel this bad? I knew this relationship wasn't right for me. Mm-hmm. I asked you to get me out of it, and you did. Why do I feel so heartbroken though? I wasn't emotionally involved with the guy. It was more so getting to know the person. Mm-hmm. It didn't work out. Why am I so heartbroken? And he said, because you never allowed. He told me, he said, this you're not grieving over this one relationship. You're grieving over of all the relationships that you never allowed me to heal you from. And in that moment, I was vulnerable with God, and it was a process. It didn't, he didn't put me back together in that one scenario. It was, over a process of time where he started showing me things. And in that moment, I realized I can give these broken pieces to God. It's not for me to hold on to. I can't do anything from it. Like, there's no healing in it.
Absolutely. We've kind of talked about this already, but what does that process truly look like with allowing God to put those broken pieces back together? Like, what does that look like for a typical, well, I can't say a typical person because I don't know everyone, but just for me and for you, and maybe people that you have encountered helping through that process, people that like, it's not just all, okay, God, I'm just going to give this to you. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that truly look like for you?
For me, having to surrender my own will, having me taking ownership that I didn't get it right. And it's okay, you know. I'm a sinner and I need a savior. So recognizing that and just going through the process, I can be honest, it hurts. Because it's like you're pulling the Band-Aid off a wound that you're trying to heal, or you know, you're opening up a wound that you thought was closed, or God bringing things back to your memory from your childhood, or you know, something happened to you as a teen that you had thought that, you know, you was over. Now all this stuff is coming back up, and it's like a flood, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're scared, you're nervous, you don't know what to do. Or sometimes it's like you want to go back to what's familiar. Even though you're asking God to bring you through it, you know, to help you grow through this brokenness that you've been in for a while, you know, for comfort, it's like you want to go back. And you have to say, okay, God, you're going to have to help me. and just be honest. God, I want to go back. God, I want to send that text. God, I want to check that page. Or God, I want to you know, just see what they're doing. I just want to say hi, you know, just checking on you.
Right. I feel like it's that mindset though, because we didn't know how to truly live with God before, and it's like it is a process. It can be painful and beautiful all at the same time. But I feel like in moments like you're talking about, like I've been there as well, where it's like, okay, God, like this is hurting. Like this is truly hurting. Like you are reminding me of those things. And I talked about in one of the previous videos about how I used to smoke because I didn't want to face what I was going on for a year of my life. And it was just like, once I gave that to him, because prior to smoking, I just wouldn't deal with it. I would be like, okay, I'm fine. I'm all right. I may have cried about it at that time, maybe a day or so, but then I try to pick myself up and be like, you know, it's all right. And I just wouldn't think about it. I would busy myself with other things. When I allowed God into that place and I truly gave him all those pieces, from broken hearts, from relationships, from anything, from past trauma, like whatever had happened when I was a kid or an adult, like God was able to truly show me what healing looked like. But in those moments, there are still times where I did want to just go back to what was familiar because I was able to survive. I wanted to go back into survival mode instead of truly living. And I feel like that's what God had to show me. Like, you were only surviving then. You were coping and you're dealing with it the best way you knew how, because only I can show you how to live this life this way. But you were just surviving. You were getting by day with what you could, barely breathing. It was something else when I truly gave that to him. But it looked like frustration. It looked like anger. It looked like throwing fits sometimes, like a whole toddler in here throwing a chair. Like,
just don't do it.
But no, like sometimes, like internally, that's what it looks like. Like you're throwing a whole fit.
So it means bringing other people in, godly community into that, letting someone know what you're going through. Maybe they're able to speak life into you, and then you're also, they say when you speak, it brings freedom, you know, and it brings healing. So also bringing someone into that and say, hey, I'm dealing with this, I'm going through this. I know sometimes I've been going through things and it's just me and God, me and God, me and God. And then God showed me, you know, I've brought other people in your life to help you, you know, who can maybe even relate, you know, I've been through that, you know, this is what I was able to do to get through it. Or somebody just, you know, help pick you up. And I said godly community, because you don't want to just share these broken pieces with everybody.
So true.
Because you need that godly counsel, that wisdom.
Someone who could bring you back to God and also speak life into you. Be like, okay, I understand why you're feeling that way. I understand why you would want to do that as well. But how would that bring you closer to God? How will that make you look more like God? Will you still be a representation of him if you chose to do X, Y, and Z?
Or, I mean, how would that turn out?
That's it.
What's the end goal here? So to that person who think that you can do it alone, or you're that person who feel like, I've been doing it this way, you know, and you may notice that it's not working out for you, you know, or that person who think, well, I could just choose another route, or I can just go another way, you know, it's me against the world. What would you say to that person?
I'm sorry, sis, but you're wrong. Do you want to survive or do you want to live? Like, honestly, like, it really comes down to that. Like, either you can have it your way or you can do it God's way. You can choose to do it the way that you learned, the way that you thought was right. But unless you are seeking God's advice, unless you are adhering and allowing other people to speak wisdom into your life, like, you can't do it all by yourself. It's a reason that he has godly community for us. It's a reason that he wants us to be in communion with others, because wisdom, he gives us all wisdom to be able to speak into each other, especially when we have moments like this or like that, when we can't think rationally. So to the girl or the boy who is starting their walk, me, when I started my walk, because I didn't know this, I would say I'm reminded of a song by Glenn from Belief in Fatherhood, and one of his songs, it says and I'm paraphrasing, what he's going through is either going to make him stronger or it's going to make the people around him put on all their armor. And with that, that's literally what I wish I knew when I first started this walk, because it's like, yes, the situations that I went through made me stronger, but do you want to have to fight by yourself? It's not a bad thing when you have those fights by yourself, whatever you're going through. But imagine having a community of people who are all listening to God, who are all seeking his advice and his wisdom, and are placing on their armor of God to go to war for whatever it is that you're going through. Do you just want to survive or do you want to live?
For me, I would say also community living. That book that's on that nightstand, or that book that's in your closet underneath your jeans. Yeah, I'm calling you out. That book that's collecting dust, go ahead and dust that off. I'm talking about the Bible. Go ahead and open it up and just read it. I don't have a specific chapter or specific verse for you to read, but ask the Holy Spirit to give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding to read his word and allow him to speak in you. Be intentional. I'm not asking you to read the Bible in a year or a day or 30 days, anything like that, but just let God direct you. Open up that word and allow it to speak through you, because when I picked it up, it's like God would just take me to those scriptures that would minister to me. Like, even though I would read Genesis and Exodus and be like, okay, I'm going to bed. But when I became intentional, okay, let me pick up the word. Okay, God, speak to me. Give me the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding to understand what you're trying to say to me. And it wasn't like he was saying go to 1 Peter, 3rd chapter, 2nd verse. It was just like, I just opened the Bible and I just started reading. And I was like, okay. So it's not going to always be like this. It's always temporary. And they say he give his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. So you got this. Continue to stay prayed up. Continue to lean not on your own understanding. Seek first God and his kingdom, and he'll lead you down that path.
So you guys, thank you so much for watching another one of our videos.
Yay.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Hey guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.